Hey, welcome back to another episode of the $1 Million Body Podcast, the intersection of physical and financial success. I'm Nate Palmer, joined by Nick Trevillian, longtime guest and friend of the show. And if you're here, it's probably because you're a high performer, entrepreneur, business owner that is interested in maximizing your physique, your finances, and your family time using fitness and nutrition as force multipliers in your life. If you're not already a part of the Facebook group, definitely go to n8trainingsystems.com/group. So we stream these podcast episodes every Tuesday. You can join in, ask questions. There's a ton of cool stuff happening in the group as well as a massive amount of free content and resources. Again, go to n8trainingsystems.com/group to join us there. If you're already in the group and watching it live, we're excited to have you because today we're going to be going deep on a topic that both Nick and Night is highly passionate about. It's AM routines. How do you gear yourself up for success in the morning without following some 23-year-old life coach's idea about like a 45-minute like meditation session in the sauna, followed by like rubbing like some CBD oil in your perineum. I can't handle that. I got 2 kids, not happening for me. Before we jump in, Nick, is it okay if I give a shout out to one of the $1 Million Body members right now?
Dude, I'm just a guest here. I'm the honored guest. I'm just stoked, dude. I'm in your world. Just do your thing, man. I'm just here. I'm here for color commentary, maybe a few jokes, all that kind of stuff. So
I mean, I'm ready for that too. Want to give a shout out though to Alex. Alex has been in the $1 Million Body program for about 3.5 months now. And dude is down almost 40 pounds. And not only that,
Alex, what up, bro? Congrats.
Dude, check this out. Not only that, but he is literally deployed right now. He doesn't have access to any food. People are constantly throwing like snacks and candy and stuff like that right in front of him. So the amount of willpower and consistency and dedication this guy has displayed over the last couple months to get these results, I just got to say, bro, you're doing an amazing job. You're really crushing it. And like one of the things he said to me is like, I haven't seen this weight on the scale since high school. Like, I'm just so pumped for you. I think that like you're just doing such a fantastic job. I just want you to keep going. Don't let off that gas, brother, because you are rocking it right now. So Alex, man, you're the man.
Alex, man, way to go, brother. Proud of you. And thank you for serving, man. Thank you.
So Nick, AM routines. This reminds me of something. I don't know anyone who's been like a long time follower of the show, watch us on YouTube, may or may not remember that like about a year ago, Nick was in another cabin. So cabins and Nick, simpatico, you know. And we did a badass podcast on the 4 foundations.
No, dude. So check this out. This is the Nick and Nate show. We've been doing this. That was 2 years ago. We did the cabin. Okay. Last year, when COVID happened, we did the 4 foundations to talk about energy. And I was in San Diego. We were in quarantine in San Diego. And like the Nick and Nate show, man, I honestly, some of my favorite episodes and some of like the most popular episodes I even have on my podcast are the ones that we have you on, just because there's so much synergy with what you do and talk about the $1 Million Body and morning routines. And what I do coaching entrepreneurs is, dude, everything starts with the foundation of your body. There's no way around it. You have to have energy to produce X, no matter what that is, to go to your job, to produce sales, to be fit, to go to the gym, all of the above. And so, dude, like, I'm honored to be here. It's your 100th episode. Like, what an honor to be here, dude. Congrats on a freaking 100, by the way.
Thank you, brother. Thank you for being 3% of all the $1 Million Body episodes.
I would have been happy with 1, man. But yeah, let's do this. Yeah. But no, Nate, like we got into this topic because I know we were chatting last week about, your 100th episode coming up and a milestone for you. But we were also starting to chat about the transition of entrepreneurs and anybody for that matter, in their health, their wellness, their production, right? And it's funny how you and I always come right back to morning routines. Do you want to kind of give your listeners, and mine, everybody watching, the insights of why we chose morning routines and why you chose morning routines as your 100th episode?
Yeah. I love the idea of morning routines and because I like winning. I don't know. I'm pretty sure that like, if I were just looking at you, Nick, looking at your shirt right now, which says CEO on it in big letters, I know that you like winning too. And I think that one thing that I love to do is figure out ways to make things automatic. So whether it's healthy habits, getting your workouts in, or literally winning, how can I automate success in these ways? And like, I like working out, and I got into working out because I wanted to put on a big beefy meat suit so that no one could ever really hurt me again. And like, kind of coming from feelings of powerlessness. And like, that's why I started. But man, I realized this is so much more. There's so much more to this than just doing bicep curls and eating steaks. So I love the idea of elevating your mental prowess, your focus, your physical energy, and just the impact you can have on the world by taking a few minutes in the morning to dive in and just check a few boxes and have an amazing day. So if there's a way to do that without spending 2 or 3 hours doing meditation and journaling and writing, like, and doing all these things, I want to take that opportunity. I want to take that. So like, I know that's what we were talking about when we were discussing this episode. Now you have, like, I know you've been doing morning routines for the last like several years now. Can you tell me a little bit about like what your philosophy is around that?
Yeah, actually, the ton of credit for you though. You're the one that really started me on that. Like as an entrepreneur, you hear it, right? Like you got the $1 million morning. There's so many miracle mornings or whatever, you know, and everybody will do these cute little Instagram videos of them like waking up, like in like the eye mask, and like they're more like, yeah, like they sit in a sauna, they meditate for 1 hour, they journal for 3 hours. And I'm like, dude, that's not realistic. For me, I believe we're the CEOs of not only our businesses, but our lives. And hence why I kind of chose the shirt to wear today to hop on with you and honor you in that. But what I found is morning routines set up and prime your body, your mind for success. And I have found that those little wins add momentum, but also you need the energy to sustain the day. I don't care if you're an entrepreneur or going to your job. I was feeling really, really, really sluggish, and I was struggling with adrenal fatigue, and I was struggling with the crash mid-afternoon. And what I have found is if you come out the gate strong, you build momentum and start stacking wins. And I started reaching out to you, asking for different, you know, strategies, different supplements to help fuel my body, because you can only chase an espresso and an energy drink and an espresso and a cold brew for so long. And living proof of this, I've been an entrepreneur for 15 years, a decade and a half. And I used to get so out of whack, and so many entrepreneurs and even humans can relate to this. We literally run in and out, energy drink to energy drink. And I was at a point where I was 3 to 4 per day. And I talk to entrepreneurs, and that's very commonplace. It would be a coffee to wake up, a pre-workout to get to the gym, an energy drink after lunch, right? And as you're trying to produce more results in your business, but what happened to me though, is when you've ran that hard for so long, because we are achievers and we're driven, my body crashed. And I've crashed on multiple occasions. And a Lamborghini with the tires blown off and steam coming out of the engine is worthless. It's stuck on the side of the road and in the shop. And I believe that we are,
anytime.
Right. I believe we are Lamborghinis, no matter what you're trying to accomplish, whether that's your fitness, trying to grow your relationships, trying to be an awesome mom and dad, or grow your business. You have to have the fuel, right? I remember we had an entrepreneur come to you, and he was having a hard time. He would go work all day running his business and couldn't have the time to play with his kids. Yet when I sat him down, why are you running your business? His reason? To play with my kids, to spend more time with his kids. And it's so intriguing how we'll rob Peter to pay Paul, right? And I found that if you can set your body up for success in the morning with the right supplements, the right habits, the right tools, the right trainings, it kind of like follows you throughout the day, and it sets you up for success, man. So honestly, the more and more I get into it, my morning routines have become almost sacred. Because if I don't do them right, I'll crash by like 2 or 3 o'clock. If I do them right, I'm jacked up and rocking and rolling for the rest of the day, man. So I'm actually here to learn too. I'm here to share some stuff, but I can't wait to hear your insights.
Dude, that's awesome. So I'm super stoked about that. And I totally agree. Like if you can figure out a way to do this that makes sense for you, and like I'm going to share my favorite morning routine, and mine's evolved over time. I wrote a book called Passport Fitness back in 2017. I shared my morning routine at the time. At that time, I had 0 children. So I had a little bit longer time. I was doing more stuff. It took me about 45 minutes. Now I have 2 kids that are under 3. And so my morning routine is it's like out the door, 5 minutes. How can I, like, what's the easiest, lowest barrier of entry things that I can do to still manufacture success, still check those boxes, still get that W without taking a lot of time, or, you know, because once my daughter's up, it's like, there's no more meditation. It's like, we're playing hide and seek. You're going to find baby fox. I'm like, okay, yeah, I guess so, Ren, let's go. So I'm super excited to dive into kind of what I would consider the 5 like highest ROI activities for the morning. And then Nick, we're also going to be sharing our like up your game, like the game changers. So if I say like, oh, we're going to have like, you have water in the morning and you want to up your game, add this to your water. So just ways that you can improve upon this process, because at the end of the day, this is a personal thing. You have to figure out what works for you, what works for your lifestyle. And so I'm going to give you mine, but like start off with it and then kind of build on it, like, and go from there. And then Nick, I just want to like, I know we were talking a little bit about this, but I think I'm going to commit to it on podcast, on the record right now. A couple weeks from now, we'll do this together as a group in the $1 Million Body community. We'll launch a 5-day morning routine challenge. Okay. Should I give some money away? It's like the 100th episode. Should we do that too?
Oh, dude, it's you drop whatever you dude, some copies of your book. Do what you want to do, man. I'm just stoked to be here.
Shit, yeah. Okay. All right. Well, how about this? Like, what should people do if I want to give them $100? 100th episode.
They got to comment in your group, bro. Tell them to drop some comments. I tell you what, if you share this podcast with somebody, either share the podcast or share Nate's group with somebody, then go back to the group and say that you did it, and I'll throw some love that way too.
Awesome. Love it. If you share this podcast either on social media, take a screenshot of it, share it on Instagram, whatever else like that, and you tag me in it on Instagram, N8 Training, on Facebook, Nate Palmer, I'll pick one of those people at randomly, and I'm going to send you $100. I'll just send it to you. I don't give a shit. It's 100th episode.
You dropping $100 bombs right now, dude.
Yeah, specifically $100 bomb to one person. But hey, let's do it. Let's get after it now. So
when you when you in the $1 Million Body, I guess you're here to learn and earn, man, at the same time. I love it. So
let's get rich.
But I love what you're talking about with the strategies, is because I think the perception when you watch like an IG influencer and they got like this reel going on and their morning routines, not all mornings are perfect. Some mornings you wake up a little bit late. Some mornings, you have an early appointment, like your daughter wants to play with you. Some mornings you just don't feel good. So I love the idea of like, hey, here's a framework, right? Like here's 5 kind of concepts, and here's a quick condensed version. Then here's the advanced version if you have more time. And so I'm real excited, man. So why would somebody want to really dive into morning routines? Because I think it's so played out now. It's funny, like it got so played out, and I think it's actually like the most important thing. What is the importance of priming your body and your mind in the morning, Nate?
Well, there's a couple things. And I think that you mentioned it, we said priming your body and your mind, there's a couple things that you can do that are great for you physically. And we're going to talk about those. There's also some stuff you want to do that's going to be awesome for you mentally and put you in a really great position and put you in a really good mood and just like reinforce some of the positive things going on in your life. Because I firmly believe that our perception really informs our reality. So if we start off our day on the right foot, Nick, with number one, getting some wins in where you say, I'm going to do X, then you check that off, you accomplish that. You're already putting yourself in a position to win at more things. Success breeds success.
No, it's so right, dude. I don't mean to cut you off, but like you're stacking the baby wins. Do you ever hear the saying that if you make your bed the very first thing when you wake up, you already have this tiny little 2-minute win under your belt? And I think there's so much truth to that. Is you get up, you've organized yourself for the day. So secondly, what would you do?
The next thing is I'm going to want to prime my energy and my mood. So I want to basically make sure that the things that I'm looking for during the day are positive, they're optimistic, they're growth oriented, they're generous. And I'm going to do that by choosing my focus early on in the day. And I have a really cool tool that I like for that. Something that I think is powerful. I think everyone's heard about gratitude and affirmations, but that's something that I think can be very fast and just shift your mindset into a really great place. So again, just because of the reticular activating system is a part of your brain that informs how we see the world, what we're looking for. So if you drive around you're driving around in your Jeep, Nick, you're going to see a lot more Jeeps, give them the wave, right? The wave is 3 fingers, correct?
Yeah. You got to throw the wave up. Well, what you're saying is where focus goes, energy flows, right? If you're focused on your health and your wellness, you're going to get more of that. If you're focused on, your gratitude and you're focused on wins, you're going to get more of that. And I think there's so much truth to that. And where I think the whole concept of managing your morning and stacking these wins comes in is I think there's this really bad trend, and I know I've fallen into it, of hashtag grind and hashtag hustle. And it's not that. You're not out of bed chugging a rock star, creating content at 7 o'clock in the morning. And I think there's this false perception. Like for years, I tried to emulate the gurus of the 5 a.m. clubs. Well, dude, I need rest. And I think rest and recovery is important. And I think I'm so excited as you go into this, where I think the frameworks work for everybody differently. It's like, hey, here's a rough outline or like a fluid schedule. Take the cool pieces, almost like a pick and choose buffet line, right? Like if you're at a giant Vegas buffet, there's the foods of the world. Go pick what you want and make sure that fits into your lifestyle.
Totally. Because like there's a time in my life where I was waking up a lot earlier because meditation was really important to me that I got it in the morning. So what I would do is I would wake up earlier than everyone else in the house. So there's no bed making for me. And then I would go get one of those acupressure mats. I don't know if you've ever seen those, but it's like a thin foam mat with a bunch of little spikes on it. And I would lay on this spike bed and meditate because if I didn't lay on the spike bed, I would probably fall asleep again. And I would meditate for like 10, 15 minutes, 20 minutes. And now like that is no longer like the highest, like it doesn't serve me as much right now. So that has kind of fallen to the wayside in like, and change it out for a couple of these other pieces that I think are more impactful or at least give me a bang for my buck without being so time intensive. So Nick, I feel like we built it out. We've teased it. This is like, we've had like a few minutes of foreplay here. Are you ready to get nasty? You ready to bump uglies?
That's why I love you, dude. Like, you know, like I'll go on podcasts and people are like, welcome to my podcast. Here's your interview. And you're like, dude, we bumping uglies, bitches. Let's roll, bro. Let's do it. Oh my God.
And that's why I can't have a real job. I have to be an entrepreneur because no one will hire this.
Let's dive in right now though. So like, why don't you just kick us off strong? Are you going to break down each 5 individually or 5 overview? Or are you going to dive right into number 1? Cause I'm literally here taking notes too. So
dude, I'm just going to, let's break it down. Let's go one at a time. Let's piece them out. Okay.
Let's crush. All right. So Nate, kick us off. Morning strategy. Number 1, more energy, more success. Let's roll.
All right. So right now, the first thing that we want to do in the morning is build energy. Okay. Energy begets more energy. The power plant does not have energy. Nick, you do not have energy. You create energy based on your needs, right? That's why the battery theory of exercise is completely false. It's not like you have 100 units of energy in your life. And if you work out, if you exercise, you lose them. It's like your body's a rechargeable machine. And if you tell it, hey, I need more energy for walking, for running, for snowboarding, for being available for my family, for playing tag with my kids, it's going to respond in kind. So that's why number 1 is 1 minute of movement. 1 minute of movement. Okay. Now this can be easy or it can be hard, right? So you could just kind of do like some marching in place. Not a bad place to start. Mm-hmm. If you're just right here, that's great. You know, you want to add in a little like high knees, raise the roof thing here, like get after a little jazzercise. Like,
is that you dancing in your kitchen every morning like that, bro?
Now I'm doing
your neighbors must be like, dude, that cat next door is just crazy, right? Well, what's cool is I remember you taught me this, is you said, wake up, put your pot of coffee on or make your tea. And while your hot water is boiling, then do your stretches or do a quick minute of movement. I think there's so much truth to that. You got to get your body, you got to wake yourself up, right?
Yep. So now like you got the minute of movement. That's great. Here's a way to make that a little bit better is take the movement and let's make it an explosive movement. So rather than doing a minute of push-ups on the ground, Nick, go on a bench or a chair and do explosive push-ups. Push yourself off and then catch yourself. Do jumping jacks, do jump squats. A rebounder trampoline is an amazing tool for this. Mm-hmm. I love my jump rope though in the morning because I think that slight bounce helps you drain some of the stuff through your lymph nodes. It creates more movement, more blood flow. And I don't know if anyone has joined us on the advanced detox and priming strategies masterclass I did a couple of weeks back. One thing I talk about is like motion is lotion. You need movement in order to drain your muscle glycogen and so you can replenish it later. So that way your body's utilizing carbohydrates effectively. I don't want to get into the science here. I just want to cover like some of the big rocks, but needless to say, movement is critical first thing. Okay. So whether you have coffee on or
not,
you do push-ups or not, get in and get some movement going. 60 seconds is going to change your energy, change your whole mood.
You know what's cool? A lot of people with the stay at home and stuff got Pelotons, and I did as well. There's a 10-minute quick warm-up class on Peloton. And so I started trying this in the mornings, like you taught me, the minute movement, right out of bed onto a 10-minute class. And it was like, it's only 10 minutes. I mean, as your pot of coffee is barely done brewing. And I started doing that. So if anybody has the Peloton, try that. Just do that. It's a quick little easy ride. Afterwards, you get a little baby sweat, maybe burnt 50, 60 calories, but you're wide awake and you've been awake for literally total 12 minutes, including tying your shoes. That's an advanced version, obviously, but.
Yeah. So I'm glad you brought that up, but like, you're 100% right. Like that one thing is going to wake you up more than pounding 4 cups of coffee first thing in the morning.
So what's funny about that is you were working with me as an entrepreneur in this, and it used to be you're groggy-eyed trying to get that coffee in as fast as possible just to even get to neutral. So funny story, I put on a pot of coffee, I go hop on the Peloton, I come back in and I'm like, well, I don't need that now. I'm pretty jacked up, you know? And I was like, oh, we'll just save this for later. I ended up pouring it and I had like an iced coffee later that day before a meeting. But there's a lot of power in the oxygen. Will you touch on like some of that too? Because I know you're explaining the movement, get your muscles going. Do you want to talk about the oxygen going to your brain with that movement right up front and the breathing?
Yeah, man, I think you nailed it. Like the more breaths you can take, the more you can oxygenate your blood, and the more you can start moving your body to move your blood faster. Because like if you just think about it, like your heart is going like this. When you first wake up, you roll out of bed, you're like, and then you hop on the Peloton, you do some jumping jacks, and all of a sudden your heart's like, how's my heartbeat noise?
Yeah, that's good.
My secondary profession was going to be a beatboxer, so I'm not going to quit my day job yet.
Yeah.
So you got your blood, your heart's just pumping a lot faster. That means there's more blood circulating. There's more going on in your body. So you're oxygenating, you're taking deep breaths, and you're moving that blood around. There's no chance that you're not going to feel better. Okay. A lot of people are like, oh, I don't know. I don't want to wake up and do a workout and stuff like that. And then they try it. And then they're like, okay, I can see how that would be a game changer. So, and it doesn't have to be a 10 minutes on the Peloton, guys. It can be 60 seconds of just high knees, raise the roof, move your shoulders around, some calisthenics, some jumping jacks. You don't need anything special. But Nick, since you brought up the workout, I wanted to talk about upping your game on this piece. Okay. So exactly what you said, 10 minutes on the Peloton, 10 minutes of cardio, 10 minutes on the rower, amazing choices to get rocking and rolling. Or you can add in what I call the 20-minute perfect workout. Okay. And this is something we go over heavily in the $1 Million Body program is how to get a 20-minute ideal workout that's going to light you up, tighten up your core, make sure your low back is feeling amazing for the day, and just put you in a really positive place because you were focusing on the big muscle groups, feel like having a ton of energy, and most importantly, like moving really well. So I think if you want to just like you can do your full workout in the morning. That's great. Totally great option. But one easy way to up your game is just a 20-minute quick body weight movement, like calisthenics type workout that hits the big muscle groups of your body and leaves you feeling better than when you started. So that's one way to up your game on that.
I love you.
Point number one.
So number one, in summary, to really get your body more energy, you're saying you have to build the energy, almost like kind of get yourself going like a flywheel, right? So you create your own energy. So on the quick version, if you don't have the time, 1 minute of explosive movements, jumping jacks, explosive push-ups, just jog in place, 1, 2, 3 minutes, hop on a trampoline. I know you taught me get bands and start stretching bands out, kind of I have a bad back. So I stretch in the mornings with like a rubber band and stuff like that. And then the advanced version would be, if you have the time right up front, hop out of bed and crush a quick little 15, 20-minute workout, or even more advanced, get in the car, run to the gym real fast, right? I mean, obviously you go spend an hour and knock that out if that's important to you.
Yeah. And that's what comes back to, this is not the $1 Million Body method that you have to follow 100% of the time for the rest of your life. This is your morning routine. You take, like Bruce Lee said, you take what is essential and discard what's not. And so like you kind of create your own based off of tips I'm giving. Maybe you like some of the Hal Elrod's savers, live your life, figure out what works for you, and then keep building off of that.
Love it. All right, brother. So we just crushed number one. Let's roll to number two.
Number two, 2 glasses of water. So I'm gonna try to keep these chronological. So 2 glasses of water. And if they're 8 ounces of water, great. If they're 16 ounces of water, even better. I like to somewhere between 24 and 32 ounces of water in the morning, because in the morning we are dehydrated. You've been breathing out moist air all night. And one of the prime ways that we're able to burn fat, Nick, is through breathing out. Like we don't poop fat out. We don't sweat fat out. We breathe out at like the fat excess byproduct that comes from like breaking down of those fat cells. So if you are not hydrated enough, you are not going to burn fat. Let's say that again. If you're not hydrated enough, you're not going to burn fat, period. So you need to be drinking enough water to be able to get and trigger those fat burning effects. It's very important.
That's so critical, man.
Of water.
Yeah, I know you taught me that. So I'll usually grab a big bottle of water that stays by my bed. I have one of the big metal ones at home, And so I'll drink this really, before bed, I have one of those. And then I wake up in the morning, I fill this up, and then this has to be gone before I touch a cup of coffee or a tea. This is really critical. I didn't know this until you taught it to me. Do you want to touch on the importance of hydrating prior to having the cup of coffee or your tea or kind of your morning beverage?
I love that you brought that up. And yeah, so there's a couple reasons why this is important. Number one, more hydration equals more blood flow, more like ability of the caffeine to affect your tissues. Okay. And number two, like we don't want to just wake up and pound coffee anyways, because as you wake up, cortisol, a lot of people know it as the belly fat hormone. It's a kind of a stress hormone, but it's not good. It's not bad. It's just a hormone. It's natural. It spikes. It spikes when you wake up in the morning, and it spikes to get you out of bed. So it kind of gives you a little bit of energy. Stress is an energy. It can like kind of go hand in hand in some ways. So what you don't want to do is like start off as your cortisol rises, you drink coffee. So you both go up at the same time, and then you kind of come back down. What we want to do is give yourself about at least 30 minutes, if not an hour, for that cortisol to spike, to peak. And then you can have the coffee off of that, piggyback off your body's natural rhythms and get more from that caffeine, especially if caffeine is important to you. If you're the kind of person who's like, don't talk to me before coffee, then don't have your coffee first thing in the morning. It sounds counterintuitive, but this can be a game changer for you if you take nothing else from this podcast.
When you first gave this to me, I was the coffee first kind of guy, for years and years and years. And I tried it. I have found by doing that, your point, the coffee is more potent, but I feel it's more sustainable. I feel by having the hydration up front, you almost have more sustainable energy long-term. And from an achiever standpoint, we're fueled by that energy, right? So if I can maximize the triple espresso like I had this morning, the farther that sucker can run, the better I'm going to be producing content or sales or whatever that is as from an entrepreneur standpoint. So you're saying chug the water. Dude, I can't wait for this. The advanced version, which I know you've given me with the magic elixir in the morning.
Yeah, so up your game. How do you up your game from just pounding water? Well, I got 3 different great options for you. Number one, apple cider vinegar. Just adding a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar to your water is a great option here. I like that better than just like having a shot of it, because the acid can be rough on your teeth. So I mix it with the water. The first glass is apple cider vinegar water. The second glass washes it down. Or let's keep going. Let's get a little deeper here. First glass is apple cider vinegar. Second glass is the juice of like half of a lemon. Another great way to build up what's called HCl, hydrochloric acid, in your stomach, which is going to help you digest and break down food more. So you can do this like early in the day. It's great. If you're also someone who deals with gastrointestinal issues, things like that, having some juice of half of a lemon before each of your meals will help you digest that food better. So you can just take that tool and save it for later.
Essence, though, digesting food means you're going to get more energy, more nutrients out of the foods, which is going to sustain you longer, and you're going to be able to produce at a higher level no matter what you're working on.
That's right. Yeah. Thanks for bringing it back home there with that. The third thing I wanted to drop in here was having some vitamin D. I like a D3 with a K2 droplets. Okay. I'm going to do about 5,000 IUs a day. Most people are vitamin D deficient in Seattle, Pacific Northwest. Everyone is so deficient in vitamin D that they don't even test for it anymore. They just go, yeah, you look deficient to me. And then they tell you to take 5,000 IUs. So if you're getting sick, especially if you feel something's coming on, then taking that vitamin D can really help boost your immune system. So 3 ways
Nate,
to.
I had never heard that until you gave that to me. I take the vitamin D and I pump that into the lemon water with apple cider vinegar. And then you taught me to sprinkle in a little Himalayan pink sea salt. Do you want to touch on the importance of the pink sea salt in that magic elixir?
Sure. I wasn't gonna go so deep today, but let's do it. Yeah. So adding the pink Himalayan sea salt. Salt is great. It's very important. If we don't have enough salt, humans die. So if you're the type of person who's active, you live in a place that's arid, like Arizona, somewhere that's a little bit warmer, having some salt is actually going to help your body stay more hydrated. So having some of that in there is great. And like, if you have just a little pinch of Morton's, that's okay. But the pink Himalayan sea salt's awesome because it has more trace minerals. You're going to get some chromium, some magnesium, some zinc, some different things in there, which are really important for the endocrine system, which is your hormones. So especially for men, and especially for men who are active, this can be an awesome way to just up your game in the morning.
Yeah, you taught me this, and Nate, I've been testing this because I think, it's always an experiment with how our bodies respond. But what I do is I do a huge glass of water with a spoonful of apple cider vinegar. We got the mothers. Then we have half of a lemon, Himalayan pink sea salt, and I squirt my vitamin D into that and chug that as well. And I can see a dramatic difference in my sustainable energy in the afternoons. If I have it in the morning and it takes you 5 minutes. If you invest 5 minutes in the morning, my productivity levels come 2, 3, 4 o'clock are still crushing. And if I don't have it, I watch a dip in my energy levels, which is really interesting.
That's smart. Yeah. So, and honestly, I don't even think it takes 5 minutes. I think this takes about 60 seconds. So we're at two-ish minutes for the morning. We got 1 minute of explosive movement, 2 glasses of water.
Can we just touch on this though? I think we're built by our habits, rituals, and routines, right? Everything in theory sounds great, but are you willing to trade 2 to 3 minutes of one disciplined habit to gain X amount, belly fat loss, to gain more energy? More energy means more production means more sales. You have to add in these successful habits. And it's like, it doesn't suck, but it's not like enjoyable, right? But like, you brush your teeth every morning, you shower every day, and just making this part of your routines. If you want to set yourself up for success, and this is what I had to train myself to do. I don't love the taste of lemon water and vinegar. However, I love the feeling of actually feeling on my game, focused, hydrated throughout the day. There's a different feeling in like a natural energy versus like a Red Bull or like a Monster. You know what I'm saying?
Totally. Yeah.
I like the presence of that.
And I think you're 100% right. Like, don't tell me what you're going to accomplish. Show me your current habits and I'll tell you what your future is.
Yeah, but if you know that it's going to help you and you want to make more money, right? And you want more energy for your sales calls or to create more content, well, if this strategy is going to help you, just do it then, right? Like it's all health, right? Like you can say the same thing about what you eat, what you consume, all the above. And I'm so glad that you touched on this in point number 2. So in summary, simple version, if you don't have time, chug 2 huge glasses of water. If you have an extra couple minutes, you're already having the water anyway. Add in some apple cider vinegar, add in a squeezed lemon, add in some pink Himalayan sea salt, and some vitamin D with K2. And that's how to build energy number 2.
That magic elixir in the morning.
Dude, it is magic. All right, Nate, 1 and 2 are done and dusted. Let's roll the number 3, how to get more energy in the mornings.
Number 3, 3 tasks for the day written out. Number 3, write down your 3 critical tasks for the day. And a lot of people think like, oh, well, isn't this like some, productivity BS? Yes, it is. And here's why it kicks ass, is because if you get clarity on the specific things that you need to be doing today to make today a win for you, a victory, then again, like we talked about the reticular activating system earlier, you're going to be more focused on what are the actions that you need to take to accomplish those tasks. What do you need to be doing? Where do you need to be going? How do you need to you need to get off Instagram and you need to write this, reach out to this person, hit your workout, prep your food, whatever that looks like for you. Just make sure you write it down so you are always trending in the direction of what's creating success. And I'm sure you've heard, Nick, what gets measured gets managed, right? And the key to getting something measured is knowing what you're measuring. So if the metric is did workout versus did not do workout, the chances of you getting the workout in are so much higher if you just write that down and give yourself a box to check.
Right. You're coming up with your daily focus, right? It's the most important 3. It's strategy and not tactic. And what I think we fall into the trap of, normal, Americans for the most part, will have our cell phones by our bed table plugged in. That's where our alarm is. Alarm goes off, we wake up, and human nature, what do we do instantly? We grab the phone, we hop on Instagram because we're going to get a little dopamine push if somebody liked your post. We're going to hop on Facebook. We're going to start scrolling, right? Then we're going to check email. And what I found is if you can leave your phone away from your bedroom and set up like a boxed alarm or like an Alexa, you're not going to check your phone, and don't check your phone for 30 minutes because it's going to allow you to actually plan your long-term, like, what are you really trying to accomplish that day, and not looking at other people's, post, or every email is a fire for the day already. Right. And so getting that focus and shaping your focus up front with the daily 3 is huge. And then identifying what's the most important task that you need to accomplish that day, and not looking at other people's, post or every email is a fire for the day already. Right. And so getting that focus and shaping your focus up front with the daily 3 is huge. And then identifying what's the most important task that you need to accomplish that day, and not looking at other people's, post or every email is a fire for the day already. Right. And so getting that focus and shaping your focus up front and making that the very first thing that you're going to work on. There's an old book by Brian Tracy called Eat That Frog. And the concept being, if you had to eat a frog, do it first and do it as fast as you possibly can. And this is so true for anybody trying to achieve. And even if that's just, hey, my workout's the most important. But for a lot of entrepreneurs, it might be, hey, today I need to record a podcast, or today I need to do, a video, or today I need to make that sales call. Identifying what's going to move the needle in your business and then getting to work on that pretty much right away is so critical, dude.
Dude, and like I can't tell you how many times, and like when I don't do this, I'll look up from the day, it's 5 or 6 o'clock, and I go, what did I do today?
Yeah, what did I accomplish today?
Because I was like, man, I was busy all day. And then I realized it was answering text messages, responding to emails, getting back and forth to people, like going back and forth to people on Facebook. And those are all good things. But if I don't have a hierarchy of goals that I need to accomplish before I can do some of those other things, it's very easy to get sidetracked with emails and notifications and messages. So having this is just is a way to intentionally design a filter or a lens through which you can view the world to see what like the success conditions are. And if you meet the success conditions, then you look back on the day, you go, high five myself, I killed it. I had a great day today. So like maybe you didn't have the greatest day, you had a bad attitude or whatever, you just didn't feel your best, whatever, you woke up on the wrong side of the bed. But you knock out all 3 of those tasks. When you look back on your day, that evening, the next day, a week later, you'd be like, dang, glad I got those in. High five, pass Nate, and that's where the power is. It's about stacking up more and more and more wins.
I couldn't agree with you more. What's so interesting when you're talking about planning your day, if on average you wake up and you spend 25 to 30 minutes in the morning checking social right away or checking your emails, right? I often hear, well, Nick, I don't have the time to go to the gym, or I don't have the time to read, or I don't have the time to produce in my business. But the very first thing that you did was look at other people's lives, other people's content, other people's posts. You actually had those 30 minutes. So Nate, if you don't mind, I'll handle the advanced version on this one. What I started doing, because I was falling into this trap, if your phone dings, you have to check it. You'll go insane, right? You ever played the game where you stack the phones at dinner and the first one to pick up the phone has to buy a round or buy the meal? Dude, like you would literally go insane. So what I did was I got a little Alexa, I know Google has them or whatever, and I put that as my alarm. I also set it up to turn on my lights, but also turn on a playlist that inspires me in the morning. I wake up to my lights coming on and a really beautiful playlist. Well, I leave my phone away for that reason, and my phone is on do not disturb because I can't hear it throughout the evening, allowing me to not get bothered during the evening and sleep through the whole night, but also to protect myself from not grabbing that phone in the mornings, and setting up a really cool inspirational playlist to wake up to. So I wake up in my home with this music on and my lights on, and I don't have to touch my cell phone. So check this out. Here's how I know how big of a deal this really is. We're traveling right now and I'm out of routine. Well, my phone is my alarm now. And sure enough, night one, what do? I plug it in the hotel bedside, dude. Like we teach this stuff. Sure enough, what did I do? Alarm goes off. My phone dings. I hop on it. I found myself 20 minutes later laying in bed checking Instagram. And I fell right into that trap. It's so big, but those 30 minutes are so important for you and yourself. Like get selfish in the mornings. If you want to serve the world, your family, your business, your kiddos, your sales team, serve yourself first. They say that, on a plane, when the plane drops altitude, put the oxygen mask on yourself first. Give yourself those 30 minutes in the morning and you're ready to go.
Dude, I love it. Be selfish in the morning. I think that's a good call for sure.
Absolutely.
And if you don't have enough time to be selfish in the morning, wake up a little earlier.
All right, Nate, let's roll. Let's roll number 4.
Number 4. And I kind of taking a little bit of leeway with this one. FOURtify your gratitude. Fortify your gratitude for the day. Get it? You guys follow, right?
Yeah, I see what you did there.
Fortify your gratitude for the day by sharing a text, an email, or a handwritten note with someone you appreciate. And I told you earlier that I was going to tell you one of the key ways to create gratitude, because I feel like there's a lot out there that's like, write down like, I'm grateful for this water that I'm drinking. I love my pillow and stuff. And those are great. My pillow is awesome. And like the fact that I get to sleep on a pillow every single day, like versus most of the world, that's great. If you're grateful for those things, fantastic. But one easy way to get into the right headspace for the day, especially if you're an entrepreneur, especially if you're serving other people, is by being outwardly focused. Focus on other people and what they are into. So here's an easy way to, again, mess with your reticular activating system and start focusing in on how do you serve at the highest level. So just an easy way to do this is like wake up in the morning and like, I'm thinking about Nick. Now, Nick's great, super smart. I love talking to him. So I just write off a note. I just send him a text real quick. Nick, brother, just thinking about you this morning. Wanted to say that I really appreciated our conversation on Wednesday. Some of the stuff you were sharing really helped me out. I just appreciate our friendship and I like you a lot, man. Easy text to send out. And then Nick, when you get a text like that in the morning, how do you feel?
Amazing. Absolutely amazing. You know, I know it's funny. We share this back and forth. The voice memo on your phone, you can send a voice memo while you're, walking around in 60 seconds. It makes the person receiving that feel good. But what if you shot that to your spouse and said, yo, babes, I just love you. I can't wait for our date on Friday or whatever. But you as the sender now, you've put your brain in a different mode for the day. You've put yourself in a servant. Like as an entrepreneur, now you're leading. Like if you shot that to one of your sales guys, yesterday I shot one of our dudes had a huge month. And I just said, brother, I'm so damn proud of you. If you're driving, you can record it. There's so many different texts that you could send it that way. A quick Facebook message, a video, but it's so powerful for the receiver. But I also think the sender, because I think our perception, or mine used to be, was I had to go sit with a journal and journal for hours. I have really bad handwriting and I'm an author, but I don't physically like using a pen. I can't read. I can barely read what I just wrote down. And so I like the physical, like shooting the text or a voice or even a video, bro.
Yeah. And like you said, like it makes the person you sent that to feel awesome, feel seen, feel like encouraged, which is fantastic. But also you get to walk around knowing that like, man, I really appreciated that person, which puts you into a better state to have gratitude for what's going on in your life. And then also just puts you in a calm, positive, energetic mode, which you just can't put a price on that. So,
well, check this out, dude. So here's what I think it does though, is as you're in step number 2 or step number 3, you've listed out your tasks for the day. Let's say you sent that text to one of your children or your spouse or throughout the day. Now, why you're actually working. So if you send a text to your kid or your spouse and said, I love you, then you go work on your number 1 sales call. What's going to happen is you're knowing that like I'm doing the sales call because of X. And I think it links up your heart and your mind with your actual actions throughout the day, if that makes sense.
Totally agree with you. Let me hit this real quick. I know we're kind of running a little bit low on time, but I want to jump into here. How do you advance that? How do you take it up a notch? One easy way to do this, I think this is incredibly powerful, especially if you have a little bit of delay gratification on these sorts of things.
Yeah.
Write this into a letter. Like, actually, I know you said you have bad handwriting, Nick, but like if I got a handwritten letter from you, I go take it to someone to get it translated. Like,
Thanks, brother.
It's handwritten letters,
What's funny is I just found an app that you can type it in and it'll do handwriting for you. So yeah, that'll be next on your inbox.
That's badass. But
all right, number 5
out.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the last thing is do the journaling. If you want to write down a little bit more about what happened to you the last time, or what's been going on with your life, that's another way to up your game. That's not something that I've been doing at the moment, but if that works for you, that's awesome as well.
And there's some really cool apps that are coming out. Day One app's really cool. That'll allow you to actually journal and archive your day. Day One app, I'm not an affiliate or anything, but you can actually upload photos of like what you're seeing. So like if you were on a walk and something inspired you, you can do it almost like a social media post, but then it archives it and you can have your gratitude journal on an online app version and go back and see it, which I thought was really cool. So if you don't have a physical journal, you always have your smartphone in your pocket. So
it's rad.
You want to hit number 5?
Number 5, 5 to 10 deep breaths. Okay. 5 to 10 deep breaths. And a lot of times this is such a great reminder for us because we don't breathe. We don't, you need air to survive, but humans are so bad at breathing. We sit at our desks, we round our posture, we don't stand up straight, and we take these shallow little breaths into our chest rather than trying to expand our back, really open up our whole air cavities, get some air into our diaphragm. So this is just a reminder for our bodies on how to breathe. Plus, like we talked about earlier with the exercise, oxygenating your blood is going to give you more energy. So 5 to 10 deep breaths here. And the way I like to do it is breathe into the nose and breathe out the mouth. And the real trick here is exhale through the mouth and exhale all that air out, all that air. And it's when you feel like you don't have any air left inside you, breathe out just a little bit more, get all that air, because there's a lot of like air that just kind of like sits in the bottom, like recesses of our lungs and our diaphragm that we never forcibly exhale because we're not ever taking ourselves to that place. So forcibly bringing in a ton of fresh air and then exhaling all that stagnant air that's been sitting in there. And then what's nice is that as you exhale, you'll feel your stomach get tight. You'll feel your abs kind of activate. And then if you can hold that tension, your core, you're going to be walking around with great posture all day. So you're kind of getting two birds stoned at once with that. But man, 5 to 10 deep breaths like that, into the nose, out through the mouth, about 5 to 10 seconds on each inhalation and exhalation. It changes your state. It changes your state completely. And like you can use this in lieu of meditation, because in itself, just breathing and staying focused on your breath and staying on point with that one thing is a form of meditation. So that's kind of. Do you want to touch
on the importance of the oxygenating in your brain and why this is number 5? You're like, well, I'm here to make more money or whatever. No, actually breathing will help you make more money. So do you want to touch on the importance of helping get that oxygen going?
Yeah, because like when we wake up, we're already in what's called parasympathetic nervous system dominance. Parasympathetic is kind of rest and digest. We kind of slowly wake ourselves up, and we try to put that coffee in to artificially spike ourselves up into a sympathetic state. It's a little more like that shake and bake. Let's go. So when we hyperoxygenate our blood using a method like this, like some deep breaths, we're going to be bringing more air into our muscle tissues, into our bloodstream, and then into our brain. And then the more oxygen that's in our blood and our brain, the more energy we have, the more focused we can be, and the clearer we're going to be thinking. So it's a great way to clear out some of the cobwebs that you wake up and you're just like, wow, I shouldn't have had those 3 margaritas last night. So if you're listening to this post Cinco de Mayo, that's a tip for you. You're welcome. The more air you have in your system, the better your brain's going to work. So a lot of people will try like the Wim Hof method here. That's like that's a little bit more of like, I believe it's into the nose, out through the mouth fast. Like 30 or so of those deep breaths. Exhale all the way out at the very end, and then take 1 deep breath in and hold that for as long as you can. Most people do 3 rounds of that. So that's one way of upping your game here. The second way of upping your game, so Wim Hof method's great. Look it up on YouTube if you want to like clearer instructions than what I just gave. But actually adding in a guided meditation using the Calm app or Insight Timer is a great way to just sit down, focus on that breathing, and then just sit in silence for a few minutes. So that can be a great way to, especially if you have a little additional time and you need that clarity. But if you're trying to get that 5 minutes most effective, then just having something where you're just taking those deep breaths can be clutch here.
Nate, this is unbelievable, man. I can't stress how simple this might seem. Water, movement, breathing, gratitude, yet how powerful it can be over your life, your business, your mind, your relationships, all the above, man. I love the fact that you're bringing this all home, Nate. Thank you for dropping these.
Absolutely. Dude, thank you so much for being on today and stopping by. And I feel like you interviewed me today, which I appreciate. I like talking.
Well, it's your podcast, man. We have so much to learn from you. But Nate, you and I both believe that no matter if you're trying to get fit, your relationships, your business, your body is the foundation. A man, there's one of my favorite quotes: "A man with his health has 1,000 dreams. A man without it has one." And it's so true. And coming from somebody that lost his health and had a tumor and was in the ICU and didn't know where my life was going, I can't stress how powerful 5 or 10 minutes on a supplement, vitamin D, vitamin B, I've been playing with a lot lately, the magic elixir, green drinks, a quick little healthier meal. And I know we can get into advanced versions later with your high fat breakfast routines and all the above, but I can't stress the importance of all of that, my friend.
Absolutely. And like you said, like the perfect workout, the advanced strategies for a high fat, high protein breakfast, like the entrepreneur's breakfast, all that stuff takes place in the $1 Million Body program. So if it's something you want more about than just what we talked about today, just reach out. Draw me something that says MD. If you're watching this live, just write MDB in the comments and I'll give you some more information. I want to real quick wrap this up, kind of go over these things. But so number 1, minute of movement. Number 2, glasses of water. Number 3, tasks for the day. Number 4, tify your gratitude with a text, email, or note to someone you appreciate. And number 5 to 10, deep breaths. 5 to 10 seconds inhale, 5 to 10 seconds exhale. you'll be rocking and rolling. That's my 5-minute morning routine for actually busy ass people who want to get more done, script their wins, and absolutely crush their day. So if you guys like this episode, please make sure you press buttons on it, subscribe to it, take screenshots of it. And like I said, if you tag me on social or share this on your profile, I'm going to be choosing one person at random. I'm going to give them $100 because it's the 100th episode of the $1 Million Body Podcast.
I love it, dude.
Nick,
hey,
dude,
bro,
thank you so much for being here.
Before we leave, dude, you're an Amazon bestseller, bro. Can I just brag about you for a second? $1 Million Body hit Amazon bestseller status. That's my dude right there. Nate, where can people get a copy of this badass book, bro? Where do I go to get this savage book?
I'll drop a link in the comments, but Amazon.com, just search for the $1 Million Body Method. It's $2 on Kindle or free on Kindle Unlimited. Grab a copy for $15 or Venmo me 20 and I'll send you a signed copy.
Dude, and if you are listening on iTunes or Spotify and not in Nate's $1 Million Body Facebook group, get your butt there. Nate's dropping fire content. This was streamed live. Nate, how can they join the group if they're just listening online?
N8 trainingsystems.com/group will get you there. Boom.
I'll see you guys inside the group, y'all.
I appreciate you so much. I'll talk to you soon. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm gonna come back
later, bro.
Q&A a little later. Talk soon.